Hello, Isabelle? Quit ignoring my calls and pick up the phone. I know you're there.
I thought you weren't allowed to use your phone in the hospital. The other patients need their peace and quiet, you know.
Oh, please, nobody actually pays attention to that rule, and you know it. Besides, everyone else has earbuds in or is watching TV in the other room. They won't be able to hear me anyway.
It doesn't matter if they can't hear you. It's the principle of the thing. It's still breaking the rules. And besides, I wasn't picking up the phone because I really don't feel like talking to you right now.
If you just came to see me, I wouldn't have to keep calling you. Why won't you just visit?
I'll ask the opposite. Why do I have to go over there?
Are you even worried about me in the slightest? I was in an accident, you know? And I'm your husband. Does that not bother you?
No, not really.
I didn't get off with just a scratch, you know? Can't you at least pity me a little bit?
Why should I? It was your fault in the first place. I didn't pity you when I first heard about the accident, and I sure don't now either. I'm more annoyed by your carelessness than concerned for your health.
I broke every bone in my body. I look like a mummy with all the casts I'm in.
Cool it, drama queen. It was just an arm and a leg. Don't try to play it up like it's a bigger deal than it really is, so I'll feel sorry for you or something.
My bone was sticking right out of my leg, you know? It was like something out of a horror flick. They've got me doped up on painkillers 24/7, but it still hurts like the devil.
You fell all the way from the 5th floor, right? You're lucky you came out of that with just a few broken bones and not a fractured spine or worse.
That's it? That's all you have to say to me? At least tell me something like, "Oh, Kevin, I'm glad you're alive. I could have lost you." I was halfway through the pearly gates by the time the ambulance got to me.
Do you want me to say that? Okay. Oh, Kevin, I'm so glad you're alive. Now can you leave me alone?
Very funny. I've been in the hospital for 2 weeks now, you know? I don't know if you haven't realized this, but you haven't come to see me once this whole time. I haven't even gotten a single text from you until now. How hard is it to send an "Are you okay" message?
Texting you would be a waste of time, energy, and iPhone battery. Besides, I told you I'm not all that worried about you anyway. You seem to have held up fine these past few weeks on your own, so I don't see how another week or two alone could hurt.
Your insensitivity really knows no bounds, does it?
There's no reason I should feel sorry for you. I'm still mad at you after everything that happened. Actually, mad doesn't even begin to cover it.
We've already talked about this, Isabelle. I thought I'd made it up to you by now. I did what I needed to for you to forget about it.
Oh, you think that's all it takes to make up for what you did to me? I can't tell if you're being ignorant on purpose or if you're really that naive.
Seriously, why are you still bringing it up? You said you'd forget all about it.
Not quite. I said that I'd leave it in the past, but I didn't say I'd forget about it. That's why I'm not coming to see you no matter what. I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. I don't care what you do from this point on. Just don't contact me again.
I'm telling you, it's not normal that you haven't come to see me this whole time. It doesn't make any sense. What kind of person would do that?
My personal sense of morality isn't tied to you anymore. Besides, you can't just summon me to your side at the drop of a hat. I'm busy. If I wanted to see you, I would, but I don't.
Some wife you are. I can't believe I never realized how selfish you could be. If you keep acting like this, my mother is going to hear every last word of it. Got it?
Of course, when you're upset, the first thing you do is to go running to your mom. You haven't aged a day past 5, have you?
I'm not playing around here. I'm really gonna tell her.
Be my guest. It all goes to show how you're nothing but a man-child who can't help but go crying to mom.
Excuse me? I'm not giving you any more chances after this. My mom's a force to be reckoned with, you know? You'll regret this, I promise you.
Isabelle, I've heard that you haven't gone to see Kevin in the hospital. He just called me a minute ago to complain about it. Why haven't you gone to see him? Do you plan on leaving him there all by himself? At this point, I just don't have time to drop everything and go see him. I'm busy. Not to sound too harsh, but if I've got a spare hour, I'd rather spend it working than going to wait on Kevin hand and foot in the hospital. How cold of you. And you still have the nerve to call yourself his wife? Do you have any idea how much this hurts him? He told me he couldn't believe how heartless you are. That's what he said to you. He didn't mention anything else important? Your husband is enduring immense pain, and yet you don't even have an ounce of sympathy for the man? Poor Kevin has been holding on by himself for far too long in that place. I thought you would have gone to see him the second you heard about the accident. It would mean the whole world to him if he could see the one he loves most, even for just a minute or two. If you're so worried about him, then why don't you go visit him yourself? I'm not the one who ought to be responsible for Kevin's livelihood anymore. You know I can't do that. I have to take care of my father around the clock. I can't leave him alone for very long at all, let alone for long enough to go and visit by myself. And besides, that hospital is simply too far away for me to travel to alone at my age. Please, just don't bother asking me to do this for Kevin. I'm telling you, I have no obligation to care for your son at this point. Oh, I've had enough of this. What can I even say to you to make you understand the situation at hand? You are being truly unreasonable. Heartless doesn't even begin to cover it. You failed as a wife. Please divorce my son. I won't ask another word of you. Just leave him so he can find someone better. Am I missing something here? You're asking me to divorce your son? But I'm single. What? The two of us split up before the accident. I don't have obligations to him because we aren't legally bound to each other anymore. What are you saying? Nobody bothered to tell me about this. You see, Kevin only tells you things that won't inconvenience him for you to know. That's why he never told you. If you don't believe me, go down to City Hall and ask. It's a matter of public record after all. So, you two really did get a divorce? That's right. But even if you are divorced, would it really be so hard to go check on him and see how he's doing? It really would mean the world to him. He sustained some serious injuries. Even if you want nothing to do with him anymore, isn't it cruel to treat him so coldly after everything he's been through? He's got enough on his plate already. I don't think you really understand the situation I'm in here. I haven't a clue what you're talking about. You haven't heard anything about the incident that caused us to get a divorce in the first place? I can assure you, I have a great reason for giving up on trying to be nice to him. I don't understand. What happened between you two? He was the worst husband imaginable. Even just remembering how things were gets me close to blowing a fuse. What on earth happened? I need to know, dear. Tell me everything. Well, Kevin went out of his way to keep this all from you, so I'm not surprised that this is your first time hearing about all of this. I have to warn you, the truth isn't pretty. Oh, dear. Kevin is your son after all, so what I'm about to tell you might seriously shock you. You'll probably want to sit down for this. Keeping that in mind, do you still want me to tell you the truth? It's up to you whether you want to listen or not, so which will you choose?
Hey, Isabelle. My mom should have reached out to you by now. Have you heard from her yet? I bet she was pissed at you.
Actually, she wasn't in the slightest.
But why? She's my mom. If anyone's gonna get mad about your horrible treatment of me, it's her.
You really haven't told that poor woman a single thing about what you've done to me, have you? Don't worry, you don't have to anymore. I went ahead and told her everything. She wasn't too happy about it either, and that's putting it lightly.
You told her everything?
I only told her what you've been hiding from her this whole time. Now, before you go begging for mercy from her, first tell her that we're divorced. She thought we were still married after all. I can't believe you didn't even bother to tell her.
Barely any time has passed since the divorce was even finalized. Functionally, we're practically still married.
That logic makes literally no sense. Listen to me. We are completely split up. For good. We have nothing to do with each other anymore. That means that I have no obligation whatsoever to go visit you in the hospital.
But I'm asking why you can't even come just see me once. You're making such a big deal out of it. Do you have any idea how heartless you're being?
Do you have any idea how much suffering you've put me... No, how much suffering you've put my family through? All the pain and turmoil your gambling addiction has cost us all?
Oh, wonderful, this conversation again. Haven't we been through this enough times already? I apologize for that. I practically begged for your forgiveness.
Did you forget that you gambled through every last penny of our savings? If that were the only thing you'd done, then we probably could have worked things out, you know? But that was just the beginning of our problems.
So, this is what you talked to my mother about.
Not to mention that you stole family heirlooms from my parents' house. Then you went ahead and pawned those off and gambled away all of that money, too. Do I need to remind you that stealing is a crime? That you could have been thrown in jail for that?
Please, Isabelle, I said I'm sorry about that. What else do you want me to do?
You even made a pass at my little sister, who's in high school. Don't think I've forgotten about that either. You've gambled our money away, you've stolen from me, and to top it all off, you made a pass at my teenage sister. My family wants absolutely nothing to do with you anymore.
Come on, I apologize to you, and we're even divorced now. What else do you want from me?
I thought we agreed that we'd settle this with the divorce, and I'd forget all about the money you owe me. You should be thanking me for not taking you to court. And yet, here you are, whining and begging me to come dote on you at the hospital, calling me day and night. I don't understand what you still want from me after everything you've put me through.
You were supposed to forget about all the things I've done once we were divorced. Isn't that what we agreed on? So I don't see why it's such a big deal for you to fulfill this one little thing I want.
You're not understanding a single thing I say to you. I don't know if it's the painkillers they've got you on or what, but I seriously don't understand your train of thought. Listen to me. What I'm trying to say here is that I want you out of my life already.
When I ask you to come see me, just come see me. What is so difficult about that?
I'm sorry, what?
You're my wife. You aren't allowed to ignore me like this. I thought when two people get married, their funds get merged together. That means that your money became mine. That's how marriage works. That's basically the point of it. It's barely anything more than a tax write-off.
Where do you get off saying that to me? You are a complete and utter scumbag.
I'm the scumbag, you're the scumbag. Where do you get off talking like this to me?
Enough of this, Kevin. You need to snap back to reality right now. You need to shape up before you disgrace our family any further. I won't stand for it.
Huh? What are you talking about?
To think my own son turned out to be such a dirtbag, stealing from his own wife.
Hold on. Mom, is that you? What are you doing with Isabelle's phone?
She came to visit me and she showed me every word of your conversation with her. I just couldn't bear to sit back silently anymore. To think you did all those horrible things. Why in the world did you do something as stupid as stealing from your wife's family? And on top of that, hitting on her teenage sister? To make matters worse, you act as though everything she owns suddenly belongs to you. What kind of son did I raise to say such horrendous things?
I don't understand why you're so mad at me.
As soon as I'm through with you, I'm going over to apologize to Isabelle's parents. To think that I've been blaming her this whole time instead of you. It's so shameful I can hardly bear it. How could I listen to every lie my idiot son told me and never even bother to hear the other side of the story?
Hey, geez, you're my mom. Aren't you supposed to be on my side?
How could anyone side with you after everything you've done?
Oh, come on. I don't understand. What did I even do?
I heard every last word of it from poor Isabelle. She told me the exact amount you're going to owe her if you keep breaching your agreement by reaching out to her. $200,000, Kevin. That's how much you've stolen from her? Do you have any idea how much money that is?
So you're gonna pay for it for me?
Where am I supposed to find that much money? I'm living off my retirement fund, Kevin. I can't earn any more money on my own.
Look, I know I was in the wrong, but I don't have that much money lying around either. You shouldn't let Isabelle get away with putting all the blame on me. I'm your son. You aren't the kind of woman who'd let someone do that, are you? I thought you were stronger than that.
She has a right to. This is all completely your fault. I'm not the kind of woman who would stand up for such a disgrace as you in the face of such overwhelming evidence of wrongdoing. Oh, the shame. How could I raise a son so utterly lacking in common sense? Shame on me.
You're exaggerating way too much, Mom. You don't need to work yourself up so much. This is just a little quarrel between me and my wife, okay?
You don't even have the introspection to understand how badly you've messed up. To think you've been such a good-for-nothing this whole time and I was none the wiser?
Enough, Mom. You've done nothing but bully me this whole conversation. You always back me up no matter what. That's just who you are. So do it again. Back me up here.
I always was on your side, and now I know that I shouldn't have been. I spoiled you far too much your whole life, and now you've come into adulthood a good-for-nothing man. If only I'd known better. I'm leaving to go see Isabelle's parents now, although I have no idea what I can do to make up for everything you've put Isabelle and her family through.
If you have time to drive all the way to Isabelle's family place, then come visit me in the hospital instead. I'm at my wit's end spending every day alone in here. I can't take it anymore. Everyone else around me has family showering them with gifts constantly, and I'm the only one in this whole hospital who's been alone this whole entire time. It's embarrassing, so please just come see me already.
Kevin, your behavior has put shame on our entire family. Once all of this is over, you aren't to step foot in this house again. I hope you understand that. And no, I'm not going to visit you.
Is my mom still using your phone? Neither of you are answering my texts or my calls.
Your mother is driving over to my parents' house as we speak.
You're telling me she's driving over alone?
I'm watching your grandfather for her. She said she's coming over to apologize to my family on your behalf. Apparently, she'd do anything for them to forgive her. She's so ashamed. I felt bad for her.
You don't think you could get her on the phone with me, do you? I just want to talk to her, even if only for a minute or two.
She'll be back when she's done talking to my family, so try again in a bit.
Now, why on earth would she go straight home after visiting you guys without even popping in to see me for a second?
Well, about that. She said she didn't want to see you, and she really meant it. If she were to go over there and visit now, she'd probably end up beating down the door in a fit of rage. Bless her heart. Above all else, she doesn't want to get in the way of the doctors by doing so.
I don't believe a word of that. She's my mother. She'd never lay a finger on me. There's no way. I know her better than anyone else. It doesn't make any sense.
The reason she didn't go to see you before she found out about all this is that she's too busy taking care of your grandfather. She can't leave him at the house by himself for long periods of time, remember? She said she'd come by another day, so it's not like you'll never see her again. When she does, she'll hire someone to take care of him for the day. So until that happens, you'll just have to keep sitting tight over there.
All the more reason for her to come see me right now. You're already watching over Grandpa.
Like I told you before, she's worried she wouldn't be able to see you right now without laying hands on you.
She's never been angry enough to do something like that in her whole life. It's not like her.
You still don't believe me. Have you already forgotten what she said to you at the end of your conversation an hour ago? She told you to never step foot in her house again. I don't think she's just mad at you. I think it's pretty clear that she's cutting off ties with you entirely.
She's cutting ties with me? You can't be serious.
I'm completely serious. Right before she left, she told me she wouldn't even unlock the door for you anymore. She seems to understand the gravity of what you've done a lot better than you do. It's nice to know that at least one person out of you lot has some common sense.
That is not a good thing. This isn't good at all.
Don't forget you're the one to blame for all this. I think they call it reaping what you sow.
I'm the one to blame? I'm the one getting the butt end of all of this. Everyone around me today has done nothing but pile blame onto me and drive me into a corner. I just wish someone would sympathize with me, even just a little bit.
Oh, when will you stop your little victim act? You're just getting what's been coming to you for a long time now. Same with your little tumble off the balcony, too. I know you weren't blackout drunk enough to forget how your self-pity party about the divorce ended with 2 empty bottles of whiskey on the veranda and a $3,000 ambulance fee.
I remember, but still.
You're seriously such an embarrassing person. Everyone there, the landlord, the ambulance workers, our neighbors, everyone was worried about you while all you did was shout drunken nonsense back at them. Why do you have to cause everyone trouble everywhere you go? It's like you cause trouble just by existing.
It's not like I wanted everyone to come rushing to my rescue. It's your fault for not coming home to see me. I was lonely. I was sad. I wanted you there with me.
Yeah, I know. They told me you were screaming my name at the top of your lungs before you fell. Come back, Isabelle. I'll never forgive you as long as I live, Isabelle. Does that ring a bell? I had that relayed to me by one of our neighbors 3 floors down from us.
I don't remember that. I guess I did end up blacking out a little bit.
It's like the only thing you're good at is causing trouble for other people. The best thing you could do for yourself in this life is close your mouth. Seriously. Nobody actually likes you, Kevin. Nobody. Everyone just puts up with you.
Come on, Isabelle, that's not true.
Then tell me the name of one person who likes you, right now. Name one. Just one person, I dare you. You've even gone and ruined things with your biggest fan, your mother of all people, so she doesn't count.
The nurses at the hospital have all been very nice to me.
The nurses? I can't, I'm dead. You actually genuinely believe they like you personally, that they'd be buddies with you. They act nice to you because they're nurses. That is literally their job. They don't act nice to you because they think you'd make a great 4th person to bring to Friday night trivia.
So I take it Mom is actually cutting me off for real?
Why don't you drive on over and ask her yourself? Well, I guess you can in your current position. You broke every bone in your body, you said. Did your head spin a full 360 degrees too? I'm just dying to know.
I can't do this, Isabelle. This all has to be some kind of misunderstanding or some cruel joke.
You're the joke. Now sit there and think about what you've done to get yourself in this position. You've got plenty of time left in that hospital, so use it wisely and do some self-reflection. It's not like anyone's gonna come visit you after all. It turns out nobody ever did go to visit Kevin in the hospital. None of his other family members went to visit either, so his mother likely told them about everything that happened. Sometime later, my family called to tell me that the heirlooms that Kevin stole were finally returned to them. Apparently, Kevin's mother somehow tracked down the people that bought them from the pawn shop and bought them all back for us. It cost her well over the money Kevin got for selling them in the first place. Of course, that money didn't come out of her own bank account. Instead, she made Kevin himself take out a loan while he was still in the hospital. She told me that she managed to get him to do it by threatening to cut him off entirely otherwise. In the end, though, she still kept her promise of not unlocking the door for him when he tried to pay a visit. As for Kevin, he now lives alone and spends his time working, paying off his debts. While he's working himself to the bone, it's good enough to see him actually working for once in his life. Kevin really was perfect in retrospect. A perfect piece of trash, that is. Frankly, I'm just glad that I never have to deal with someone like him ever again. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this.